Now let's talk about some All Elite Wrestling. Let's talk about AEW, and let's talk about the most controversial figure currently on their programming. And it's not Kenny Omega, it's not Bryan Danielson or CM Punk or MJF, it's none of them. I'm talking about one of the founders, one of the EVPs, and I can already sense that the IWC is burning with rage because somehow, some way, for some reason, the IWC just dislikes, not to say hate, dislikes Cody Rhodes. For some reason, the IWC just can't stand the guy. They don't give him his due, they don't give him his respect, and lately, on Dynamites, on Rampage, on AEW pay-per-views, Cody Rhodes has been coming out to their programming, to the show, and he's been getting a lot of mixed reactions, mostly boos from the fans, which is completely misunderstandable, if that even is a word, or if I'm even using that in the correct manner, because ever since AEW made their debut back in early 2019, Cody Rhodes has been a babyface, and he has stated in the past that he will not turn heel anytime soon. As a matter of fact, he said it's been recorded, it's been documented, that Cody Rhodes has informed his fans, the AEW faithful, that he will never turn heel. He'll never be a bad guy on that show. So, right there, right then, that shows us that Cody Rhodes is aiming for a certain type of reaction. And the fans, they don't want it. They don't want Cody Rhodes to be one of the main guys in AEW. Now again, if we go back to the fact that I just mentioned a few minutes ago, fans, wrestling fans, and mostly fans and human beings in general are fickle. We change our opinions like that. Like that. Depending on circumstances, depending on how we feel that day, depending on how we feel in that very hour. We might be happy 1 hour, then 10 minutes later, we're pissed off for some very different reason. And what Cody Rhodes did last week, what he has been doing for AEW, for wrestling fans in general, you gotta give the guy mad respect. You gotta give the guy his due. He put himself through a table on live TV, on a cable show, which again, yes, it's a very memorable moment, but most of these episodes are throwaway, and over a certain amount of time, they get out of here. They don't stay in your mind. But Cody Rhodes put his body through a flaming table to entertain you, the fans, regardless of reaction. Now the fans popped for the flaming table, because that's what they're supposed to do. They love that. But at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes still got the same reaction. He beat Andrade, and Cody Rhodes got a mixed reaction, not to say boos. Why? Because fans think he buried Andrade, which is stupid, which is completely blown out of proportion. Stupid. Because they created a memorable moment on Dynamite that fans will remember. Cody Rhodes and Andrade. Remember that flaming table spot? I do. That was awesome. But now Cody Rhodes is getting, not to say it, but a John Cena effect kind of thing. He can't challenge for the I was about to say Impact World Championship. He can't challenge for the AEW World Championship because he lost to MJF about a year, 2 years ago. And that stipulation required him to not challenge for the AEW World Championship. Now, we as wrestling fans know that they can change that any time they want to, and most likely they will. But what if they don't? What if Cody Rhodes actually lives up to that stipulation? What if Cody Rhodes actually lives up to the fact that he will never turn heel? Well, guess what? Wrestling fans are just going to be pissed off even more at him because he's stuck by his word. He hasn't given the fans what he wants. And eventually, fans like their characters. They like their superstars to flip-flop. Ooh, I want to see him as a heel. Ooh, I want to see him as a babyface. They get bored with the same old stuff. They get bored time and time again. And that's the reaction Cody Rhodes is getting. He's a babyface. He's been a babyface for 3 years. We want to see something different from Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes is just not giving that to them, which pisses them off, which gives Cody Rhodes the John Cena effect with the crowd. If you ask me, Cody Rhodes is gonna stick by what he says. He's not gonna challenge for the AEW World Championship. He's not gonna turn heel. For all we know, he might be retiring very, very soon and just heading into the office. For all we know, that could happen. Or what most wrestling fans expect, what most wrestling fans want, Cody Rhodes to turn heel. Cody Rhodes to, quote-unquote, shoot and book himself in that AEW World Championship match because he's a heel and because every single wrestling fan out there knows that he's an EVP of the company and can do that. Because he can. Because he's an EVP. He can take away that stipulation where he lost and give the fans a big F you, which is what currently the fans want because they want Cody Rhodes to be a heel. And then the fans are happy for what, 6 months, and then they turn on him again because they realize, oh, he's an EVP, he controls the strings backstage, so we don't want that anymore. And again, wrestling fans are very fickle. They change their minds at a drop of a dime. That's why I don't trust most wrestling fans' opinions, because at the end of the day, they don't look at the long term, they look at the short term. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, I think Cody Rhodes is going to stick by his word. He's not going to challenge for the world title. He's not going to turn heel. And he will retire very, very soon. And because of that, we should respect him a lot more. Now, if you pay a ticket to an AEW show, you have the right to cheer or boo whoever you want, however you want to do it. As long as it's just cheering and booing. Don't go past that. But we'll see. Anyway, what do you think about Cody Rhodes? Do you think he's going to live up to his word? Do you like the reaction he's been getting? Do you agree with the fact that that Cody Rhodes has been getting a John Cena type effect reaction from the crowd? Or do you disagree? Leave your thoughts and comments on the comment section below.